Andy Griffith here, going to be dropping some bombs. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about old media versus new media and how they're very similar. And I'm going to tie those into you to make how you can understand that. And also just a big mistake that's being made when you're trying to model others. In my last video, I talked a little bit about how internet marketing and direct response marketing are very similar. Well, I'm also today kind of tying that in as how old media and new media are the same thing as well, right? And one of the notes I made yesterday was talking about, when you model others in school, you would get in trouble for copying people. But in business and life, you can actually get rewarded. And I'm not saying copy as in like rip off, but I'm talking about like model. Success leaves clues. So how do you model them? So essentially, we start talking about what is old media, right? Derek, what's up, man? Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. We start talking about old media versus new media. Well, old media, we have things like direct mail, right? We still get that stuff. You get those flyers in the mail. I can't imagine what the conversion rate on something like that is because we all get it, the junk mail, right? And then you had things like network marketing, joining some sort of like luncheon groups or network social mixer events. And I'm saying that's old media because some of that's probably still going on, but there's a lot of things that have changed and the landscape's different. I'm going to tell what the landscape is now compared to those things. Also television, right? I mean, I love movies and shows. Television's the thing. But essentially there's new media out that's slowly replacing that. Radio is another one. Some of us may not even listen to the radio anymore with things like, the Spotify's and the Pandoras and the Amazon Music's out there, or even I think Tidal's another one of them. Or newspapers. Okay, how many of y'all even have like a newspaper subscription anymore? And I'm sorry if you own a newspaper, but the landscapes are changing, and that's why those are actually old media. And what the new media is and how the tie-in is essentially, we had direct mail, right? Well, now we have email. You can send direct messages to people through email, right? We had things like networking events. People, you have to get dressed up, all that, leave your home, go to an event. Well, now you have stuff like social media, if you really think about it, and to go even further, you have like Facebook groups. Those are like a group of people getting together, okay, or LinkedIn or things like that. So there's ways to actually network with people unlike ever before. You don't have to like go somewhere and know someone to meet someone. I mean, you can actually reach out and network with people pretty, maybe not easily, simply, right? Getting them to respond, there's some tactics to that, but I'll cover things like that later on in other videos. But when you think about television is an old media. It's been around for quite a while, but YouTube is coming out, right? It's been out, but YouTube now starts having like paid subscriptions, and there's shows like exclusively on there, okay? And there's like essentially people can, if you got a camera, which we all got one of these things, right? A phone, you can have a YouTube channel. Or doing some sort of webinars, or like what I'm doing right here on Facebook, having like a Facebook Live. You follow me? This is technically a television, right? It's a video. Then replacing the radios is podcasts. Podcasts are a thing. And again, if you have one of these, there's an app called like Anchor. You can start a podcast. You don't have to spend tens and thousands of dollars to have your own television show. The entry to technology, or because of technology, the entry into markets has drastically changed. Right? I mean, you literally have this device and you can do a ton with it. And this is the new media, right? Or and instead of newspapers, you have blogs. You can start free blogs or very nominally cheap blogs. And so, and if we kind of go a little bit deeper past what that media is, okay, is there's essentially three ways we all learn as human beings. We have our things that we see, visual, right? Okay. All of us learn better in different areas. We're all unique in that way. We have those that are better at reading information. We actually take time and you read information. And so that's where you have like your blogs, right? And websites or direct mail or email, because they're reading information, versus seeing could be like the lives, the webinars, the YouTubes, or also hearing. We hear things, right? Some of us are better if we just listen to it. Like my wife, she is phenomenal at music lyrics. She always gives me a hard time because I'm terrible at memorizing. I'm good with the tones, but the lyrics, I always mess up what the words really are, sometimes for longer than I'd like to admit when she corrects me. But some of us are really good at hearing things, right? And that helps us learn. So using old media, or taking what old media is and realizing what new media has become, and essentially the fundamentals are the same. I talked about this in the last video about a lot of things change, but they don't really change. And so with that, it's learning how do we use those to enter into the market for our businesses, right? And there's actually a big mistake made when you try to model others or enter into the business world. And so with that, when you're thinking about entering in a market, you want to model off someone. The first person through the forest has all the arrows in their back, right? I mean, you hear glory stories about this person paved the way for this, but what I'm trying to do in this video series is show you that a lot of things aren't really new. They've just been repackaged. And so when you're trying to enter into a market of something, there's probably someone or a few someones out there already doing something similar to what you're doing. And so you want to model after them. Because again, the first person through the Amazon got the arrows in their back. The second one had a lot easier path to get through it. And so when you are looking to model of other people, the big mistake, and I'm saying like this is probably like a 10x mistake being made, is you only see what they're giving away for free. A lot of people are scared to pull out their wallet and actually buy something from their competitors, right? And maybe it's like, hey, Andy, I'm not scared to, but have you taken time to actually do it? Have you actually bought something from someone who could be a quote competitor, right? And there's plenty out there. So it's like, there's plenty for both of y'all to live, to be fed out in the market. But have you bought their stuff? Because what you're seeing is free is only like the tip. If you imagine like an iceberg, you're only seeing like what's above water. We got all this water here, right? You only see what's above water. You don't know what the heck they're doing after someone becomes a buyer with them, okay? What kind of messages are they sending to them after they've purchased? What other things do they have behind the purchase wall as some sort of add-on or upgrades or incentives? And I've talked about this a little bit in the last video about what funnels are, and I'll break down more of the psychology of funnels. I'm really keeping in this video about fundamentals haven't changed and how we're going to apply that to using funnels. Because funnels, what I like to say are funnels are to websites what social media did to the internet. They're the next thing. And so when you're modeling others, you don't know what it is they're doing on the back end once someone makes a purchase from you, right? Or from them. If you have never bought, you just see what's on the free side, which you can model that, but you don't know what's on the trail end that you need to be modeling as well. One thing I love, like I bought in Grant Cardone stuff a number of times, and that man emails the crap out of you. I mean, but they're great emails. So I got this one side of me, it's like, oh, there's so many emails. I don't want these. But then other side's like, I love reading them because they're just getting the content and engaging from them. So, oh man, it's just, but I know what his process looks like. And he does a phenomenal job of following up and talking about what promotions are and what. So it's not like I bought something from him one time and I've never heard from him. And some of you might be guilty of that. Is you're selling something. What are you doing to keep following up and stay top of mind to these people? Because your customers, how do you stay top of mind whenever after a sale is made, when they keep considering you, right? Those are some of the key elements that makes your business grow fast, rapidly, 10x style, just again and again and again. And so if you guys are getting this, leave a like. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. But just trying to get you to understand that there's a system in a funnel. It's not a transaction. It's a process. And that's what we're going to be talking about through these video series, is building out these processes. Some of those gold nuggets, what you want to do is actually provide a ton of value, like give value. A lot of people are scared, like, man, Andy, that's my secret sauce. I don't want to share my secret sauce. The more open you are and the more you share, the better return you're going to get, because what's going to happen is people are going to begin to know you, right? Because you're putting content out there. They're going to begin to like you because you're helping them. You're actually giving them value. And I hope you guys are getting value out of this. And then they start to trust you, right? And when someone knows, likes, and trusts you, they usually can become a customer, right? A client. They can start to become part of your circle. But if you don't know, like, or trust someone, you're probably not going to give them anything. And so you've got to give a lot of value up front to get them into your world. Because once you have a customer, the second sale is a lot easier. It's the second time of offering something as an add-on or moving them up a value ladder, which I'll go into what value ladders are in another video, that it's a lot easier because they've been introduced to you. So don't be scared to kind of overshare what you think might be your secret stuff, because that's what's going to separate you, because you're like, oh my God, this guy tells me all this stuff and this one won't share anything. Who are they going to trust, right? Be an open book, be transparent, and learning how to communicate properly. Because there's definitely, we've all been around, sales sometimes gets that bad term where, like, oh, they're a salesperson. Oh, no, that's because they haven't been professionally trained, right? They haven't gone through learning to do it in an ethical way, in the right way. I've seen both, and we've all been a part of both. I talked about in my last video was, I bought a television recently, and that guy that sold me the television was very professional. He walked me through a buying decision, helped me figure out the right thing I needed, and reassured me on the decision I was making based on what I told my needs were. I mean, I felt like he did me a favor, even though I bought from him, right? That's professional, and it's learning how to communicate with your clientele. And then what it is also, as I do more videos, we'll be talking about building out your sales process, because the sales process is a process. It isn't a one-time event. It's a process that keeps going and going and going. And that's what helps blow your business up, is by having a process in place. And so some of that is like knowing the term, like having an evergreen content. An evergreen means it works no matter what. And that's what I'm trying to do with these videos, is explain to you that things have changed. No, they haven't. The technology may change, but if you understand the basic fundamentals that are underlying between them all, things haven't changed. And so when you start to see that deeper level of understanding, when the technology changes, because guess what, like Facebook, I don't own Facebook. They can change anything they want, but the philosophies of what you do in the marketplace can adapt to whatever the providers change, right? You follow me on that? Like, because all your social media accounts, you technically don't own those. They can make changes to it. And so when you understand what the philosophies are on how you're using those media channels, it doesn't matter what changes, because you know what the core aspects are on how you're delivering your information, right? Let's see here. I've got a few notes. I want to make sure I touch on all this. So with that, I mean, that's pretty much the basic of this video. On the next video, I am going to be talking about 4 simple questions that often get overlooked. And these are questions that have actually, some people have actually paid 25 grand to learn what these processes are. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate that. Is some people, because this information, I've spent a lot of time and energy studying this stuff online. And what can happen is we get tunnel vision, right? And so there's 4 primary questions that often get overlooked when you're trying to grow your business. And these people have actually paid $25,000 to go through this process. And I've actually been able to get access to that. And I'm going to be talking through what those questions are. And that might help give you some aha moments to go, have I done that in my business? Or have I done it recently? Have things changed? And to really start to understand how you're going to impact the market through your business with literally 4 simple questions. Because a lot of times when people think simple and easy are not the same thing. Okay, follow me? Simple and easy. Simple to do is simple not to do, right? Like I always like to use exercise. Is we all know we should eat better and exercise and It doesn't mean it's easy to do it, but it's simple, right? But these are 4 simple questions when applied to your business can make drastic income results for how you are performing in your marketplace. So with that, guys, please give a like, please give a heart. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Or if you know anyone who would benefit from seeing this information, do them a service. And